Business School of the Sagar Group of Institutions. Welcome to the faculty as well, and to all other invitees and the colleagues at APMAS. So today is a very, I would say, a special day. We have Smarajit Ray Memorial Lecture, and we have Professor Trilochan Shastri delivering the lecture. In fact, we have followed multiple formats. The initial memorial lecture we had was by Dr. Y.V. Reddy. Then we have had several other lectures. But later, we also converted into panel discussion as a memorial event. But today, we have this lecture. And this is happening as part of the UN International Year of Cooperatives. In fact, it ends in December, so we are on the 24th of December, on the eve of Christmas. So I'm happy that we have this memorial lecture. I also want to mention that the topic chosen, which is the establishing scalable and sustainable cooperatives and FPOs for farmers' prosperity, was also very appropriate, as Mr. Ray strongly believed in the cooperatives and self-help organizations. And he, as part of the government of Andhra Pradesh, he did a lot of work for self-help groups, federations, cooperatives, other kinds of collectives. I also want to extend a very warm welcome to those who have joined virtually. There are many who have joined through Zoom meeting, and we also have participants who are participating through the YouTube Live. So for both the participants, I extend a very warm welcome. Mr. Ray, as many of you who know him would know, and particularly Mr. Madhavrao know him very well. He was a very humble, very soft-spoken. In fact, there were some adjectives. We had a publication that we released in 2005 called Smarajit Smaran, and many people had several objectives or adjectives to his name. That's the kind of person he was. And he is someone who always believed that civil society organizations and government must work together for the prosperity and for poverty reduction. So that's the kind of approach he believed in. In fact, during his tenure with the government of Andhra Pradesh, he ensured that government officials visited successful, innovative models of development, whether it is watersheds, self-help groups, or any other kind of innovations. The government officials visited them, got themselves immersed and learned from that, and practiced in terms of scaling up those initiatives. So I'm really happy and delighted that we have the memorial lecture delivered by Professor Trilochan Shastri, and he is a practitioner. In addition to being a professor, he has promoted very successful cooperatives in Utnur area of Telangana and in Anantapur or Rayalaseema area of Andhra Pradesh, working with over 45,000 farmers. In terms of, Mr. Ray and APMAS, I just want to say a few words. Mr. Ray, I knew him, of course, for almost now 30 years. In fact, first time I met him and Mrs. Ray in Paderu, in the guest house, when I was part of CARE and we visited and we met. But he always had this advice that government is good at hardware, that means they can build buildings, roads, but NGOs are good at software, which is about social mobilization, community empowerment. So he really did kind of bring that kind of a clarity and during the conceptualization and design of AP Mass, I think Mr. Ray played a pivotal role. And of course, Mrs. Nandita Ray was one of the founding members of AP Mass, one of the signatories to the Memorandum of Articles and Articles of Association of AP Mass. Mr. Ray also oftentimes used to say that it is easy to promote collectives, but it is difficult to sustain them. So I think today's topic is about sustainability. It's about scaling up. I think we should really in a way remember the immense contributions of Mr. Ray, celebrate his life, and in a way he lives through our actions. That's exactly what many said when they contributed to this book, about how do we remember him, or how do we carry forward the legacy of Mr. Ray. I really had the good fortune of working with him, learning from him, and spending considerable time understanding in a very nuanced way how development initiatives could be implemented. In fact, in addition to being the kind of friend, philosopher, guide during the conceptualization and design of AP Mass, he also served on the board of AP Mass. And more importantly, we had one initiative called Government NGO Collaboration. We actually, when late Sri Rajshekar Reddy was the Chief Minister, we organized 23 district level workshops in the United Andhra Pradesh, and organized state level workshop of government NGO coordination. And Mr. Ray was the first vice chairperson of the state level government NGO coordination committee. He of course, very soon after that, he passed away. But that was an initiative to see how we build synergy between government and NGO. And government and NGO working together, whether it is promoting collectives, whether it is about poverty reduction, is it's about not 1 + 1 2, but 1 + 1 is 11. That's the kind of belief Mr. Ray had. So in a way, that effort helped in bridging partnerships between government and civil society organizations. So today we are really happy to remember him. We are happy to celebrate his contributions, and we are happy to rededicate ourselves to further the values and principles that Mr. Ray stood for. So with those few words, maybe I'll invite the dignitaries for us to light the lamp and then pay tributes to Mr. Ray with some floral tributes. Yeah, thank you. So now I will invite Mrs. uh, uh, Mrs. Nandita Ray to share her thoughts on this occasion of Smarajit Ray Memorial Lecture. Thank you.
Well, I'll start with repeating what I've said in almost every one of the memorial lectures, that my late husband Smarajit Ray's interest in rural development was centered around the fact that he believed that rural poverty was India's biggest problem. And if we look at the basic statistics involved, it bears out this idea, because about 65% of India's population continues to live in villages, and the rural share of India's GDP has been steadily shrinking. It is now down to something like 15%. So that is almost self-evident that 65% of the population shares a very small part of India's GDP. The actual decline in India's poverty levels has taken place, and it looks very significant, because compared to even early in the present century, it was something like 35%, and now it is down to some 26%, which is a big decline. And 35% is also much lower than what it once was, at around 50%. But the fact remains that the share of the country's growth and the much wanted thing by our government that India is going to become the 5th largest of the world's economies is that the disparities have become very obvious now. And I don't know what will actually solve that issue of this widening of disparities. And one of the major things that my late husband was involved in was women's thrift, initially women's thrift groups, and starting with the Dwakra program down to the present day women's thrift cooperatives, which in Andhra Pradesh at least has attained significant size, because women were, after all, the poorest of the part of the poverty. When we talk about, poverty levels, we mean that, that the women's share was much the largest. But the small and marginal farmers, of whom also some of them are women, are also a very significant part. So from thrift cooperatives now, which they have been very successful in promoting, they are now promoting farmer-producer organizations, which are also self-help organizations. And it is hoped that the expanding farmer FPO movement will in the near future, start showing improvement in the farmer's income. Because this is a very dangerous trend that farming is becoming so unviable that farmers' children, by and large, very few of them want to become farmers. So it is in this area that now APMAS is working. And it is also a very significant part of my late husband's legacy. So today, Dr. Tiloshan Shastri will be talking about the viability of cooperatives. And if if these agricultural cooperatives are to succeed, then viability is absolutely very important part of that. Because in spite of the fact that cooperatives are well suited to farmers, the cooperative principles emphasize democratic functioning, where there's one vote for every farmer, no matter what his economic circumstances are. It is supposed to be transparent and voluntary and having other democratic features as well. So the viability is of paramount importance economically if these organizations are to flourish and survive. So I will now hand over to Mr. Madhav Rao to say a few words before Dr. Shastri.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry I was slightly late. My apologies. I have known Ray as a colleague in the service of the government, coming from the same category of IAS officers. We were sort of good friends, and in a way I am an admirer of Mr. Ray. Generally, the top two services, IPS and IAS, whatever be the motivation for them to join, many of them are today joining because it has social acceptability, social approval, family approval. But what is our designation? IAS is an examination we pass. And after that, it ceases to be a designation for us. Whatever job we do as public servants. We are called public servants, civil servants. Now the public is very clear, serving the entire community in the country. Civil, why do the word use civil? Now in one way it is to distinguish it from the military. The service was introduced by the British, where they are ruling through their military force, and in terms of civil services, they had a separate wing. So it's in contradistinction with military, it is called civil at that time, but today it has to be civil because you are supposed to be polite, considerate and respectful to the people whom you deal with in your capacity as a public servant. How many of them are civil? We see a number of stories of the public showing that we are not really civil. We treat them as bosses, and the public who approach the civil servants as kind of applicants is not the boss and the applicant. It is a person who is appointed to serve the public. Now, to serve the public, you must have a lot of humanity in you. Otherwise, the power dominates you. One of the exceptional people who was civil by nature is Mr. Ray. He's a gentleman and a very, very affectionate and kind-hearted. The other thing I have personally noticed in him is we in civil service look for some jobs which have high view position. A district collector is something which everybody would like to be known as. A finance secretary is something which you would be proud to be. But to work in the rural areas as a social welfare officer or secretary social welfare is not that tempting, it's not that popular. If somebody wants finance or industries, power, irrigation, etc., the only person was always asking for social welfare. I came across his Mr. Ray. Accidentally, I happened to be in some important positions where I have a say in the transfers. So he would always say that, do not shift me from social welfare. Thank you for keeping me now, but do not shift me. Whenever there is a change of guard of the political system, he would again come and say that, take care that this man doesn't touch me. You protect my seat. And that is, the word itself says social welfare, serving propagating the welfare of the society. Now, he has been like that for life. He was collector of Warangal, where I also happened to be there a little before him. Now, the one quality that people talk about is his access. And the kind of informality with which he treated the people who came to meet him. So I would count him as one of the very few who had a genuine interest in the poor man's life and activities. And I think the mic is not being civil to Mr. Ray. So I can go on talking about that man's human qualities. And when he took the job, he did it with tremendous sense of sincerity and willingness. It's not as though he was doing a job because he had to. But he had tremendous pleasure and satisfaction of serving the poor man. I think there I will stop and request.
I'll just say a few words on it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Madhurav Garu, and now The sound is very loud. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ray. We have now Professor Trilochan Shastri, who will be talking about the topic that I mentioned earlier. I just thought I will say two more points before I hand over the mic to Professor Trilochan Shastri. One is that Mr. Ray, in a way, someone who, while he really wanted to work in social welfare, tribal welfare, rural development, Panchayati Raj, it's about empowerment of the poor, the marginalized. There are others who really did similar kind of work. You know, one of the organization is housed in APMAS building, Commitments, where we had, Mr. S.R. Shankaran, we had Mr. B.N. Yugandhar and Gopal Rao Garu. Those were the founders. So he really belongs to that category of officers where he never wanted those glamorous posts, but he is someone who really believed in community empowerment, social mobilization, and access to financial services, livelihood promotion. The other important aspect that I found working with Mr. Ray over the years is that his strong belief in the importance of self-help. I think that's why Mrs. Ray mentioned about the cooperative values and principles. He strongly believed that people have the ability to identify their own problems and to find solutions to those problems. So self-help, mutual benefit, self-responsibility. But as civil society organizations, as government, as private sector, we need to facilitate and create that kind of an enabling environment. So he always had great difficulty if people were providing solutions to poor people, or this approach that we give you a fish every day. And those days, Mr. Ray strongly believed that how do we teach them how to fish and how do we empower them, enable them? And that is where his strong belief. In fact, a lot of officers, Madharogaru, they used to get upset when he asked them to go for immersion program to Timbuktu Collective or go to see some work of RDT or some such organizations. But he really believed that the NGOs, non-governmental organizations, did a lot of innovations. And the government's role is to understand them, internalize them, and scale up those initiatives. And I think in that category of institutions, the cooperatives and farmer producer organizations come. And today, APMAS does a lot of work with FPOs. So is the organization that Professor Trilochan Shastri has, CCD, Center for Collective Development. And we together have come up with this Bharat Alliance for FPO Acceleration as an initiative for accelerating FPOs into thriving business organizations. So in that sense, today we are remembering the immense contributions of Mr. Smarajit Ray, and also trying to understand how do we sustain, how do we scale up these institutions so that they become thriving business organizations. And I don't think I need to give any long introduction to Trilochan Shastri. He is a very accomplished professor. He taught at the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. He also promoted vibrant cooperatives. Currently, he is also championing the idea of a brand for the farmers' produce called Farm Veda. I'm sure he will talk about all these and more. So with that, I again welcome Professor Trilochan Shastri and hand over the mic to him. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I speak from here or? Yeah. Okay. You can stand, sit, whichever way you want. Yeah. No, yeah, here, so if you don't mind, I'll stand here. No, 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 no. You sit there. I will stand there. I just want to be able to look at it. So, very good afternoon to everybody, and a big thanks to AP Maas, Mr. C.S. Reddy, and respectful greetings to Mrs. Nandita Ray and Mr. Madhav Rao. This work that we are going to talk about, this talk, is not based on academic research. It is based on the work that we have been doing for over 20 years. And in a very sort of direct or indirect way, we got started on this because of Mr. Smarajit Ray. I used to be a tenant in his father-in-law's room for 1 year when I was exploring how to do rural development. So let's just move ahead. I've just spoken about this. Thanks to AP Maas and to Mr. Smarajit Ray. Yeah. Now, a very brief overview of this. One thing is I find in the work that we do in the development sector, the question is, are we stuck in some old models while the world has changed? I think the young people will like to hear this because the world has changed. When we started the work, we used to talk about rural poverty. Now we talk about rural prosperity. When we went there, we did see poverty. Now we see, but we see smartphones. I have not been to a single village in India, including remote Jharkhand and Kashmir, and where people don't have smartphones, including the poor. And the awareness levels are at an all-time high. They know many things that I did not know when I was a kid. So our whole strategy and thinking about this sector has to modernize, and hopefully we will not be stuck in old ways of thinking. I'm going to be a little blunt when I speak, I'm sorry about that. So the overview is, what is the vision for cooperatives and FPOs? FPOs is a newfangled word. Basically, in spirit, they are cooperative. Now they call it farmer producer organizations, farmer producer companies, this, that, and the other. And what scale do we need them? How long do we need to sustain them? And how do we stand as India compared to other countries? You see, I will just take a 1-minute digression. One of the people I admire, I'm saying it openly, is Swami Vivekananda. He used to say that one reason for our degeneration is we are like a Kupa Manduk. That means frog in the well. We only look at each other and what happened in my neighborhood and all that. We should be looking at international benchmarks. So I'm going to look at some international benchmark, and it's going to be a bit of a wake-up call because this information is available. Then basic principles for how do we do it, little overview, and how do we get the resources. We need money, human resources, etc. How do we do that?
It's a bit grandiose, but looking at countries like China, it's high time we became more ambitious and stopped
talking about small, chota mota. Chinna maatalu avasaram ledu. Let's talk about the nation. So let's go ahead. So at independence, the vision was 3 pillars of democracy. Jawaharlal Nehru said it, Mahatma Gandhi said it, various government documents said it. That is cooperatives, Panchayati Raj, and schools or primary education. They claimed on paper. Which of these 3 things we have done well in? I'll let you people and the seniors tell us. We are wonderful in grand statements, constitutional statements. So where are we in implementation? I will not say anything, but this is where we started off with. Brilliant in conception and lot to be desired in execution. Let's go to the next. Why are cooperatives or FPOs important is something which Mrs. Ray also briefly touched on in her introductory remarks. India has by far the second largest number of farmers in the world. China and India are like, here and there. Sometimes they are a little ahead, sometimes we are ahead. And 80% of these small farmers are small landholders. So I know about Bangalore, I'm sure it is true in Hyderabad. If you go to any auto rickshaw driver, taxi driver, some fellow selling pan on the roads, anybody, and talk to 10 of them, you will find 5 of them have come from rural areas, and nearly all of them are from some kind of farming family and they are not able to survive, or they come and join MBA programs like you guys are joined. Okay, so there is some issue there. And as she also mentioned that most of them are in trouble, 18% of the GDP with 60% of the population, blah, blah, blah. And farmers face all the risks. So let me make one little kind of statement. All farmers are entrepreneurs. And they are different type of entrepreneurs because every year they are taking a risk. Usually in good business, we take high risk, high margin kind of businesses are doing high risk, low margin business year after year. So here are the risks. They're all well known. Risk of weather, climate snowed in Saudi Arabia last week. So climate change is happening, so the farmers are affected because 70% of India is rain fed. And there are pest attacks, market access, etc. All these things we all know. And the other thing is that farm gate prices are very low compared to what you and I eat. So, I mean, I don't know about this coffee, but if you go, our farmers in Anantapur, they get 70 rupees for groundnut. In Telugu, we call it Versenakkai, Singdana, Mungfali. And peanut butter sells for 500 rupees. And who gets the money on peanut butter? Not the farmers. I'll just come to that. Private sector investment as of 2025, according to what is available, is 1 lakh crores in the food sector. Why is the private sector investing 1 lakh crores in the food sector? Because they will make money. That means there is money in the food sector. And just now we heard all the speakers say that there is no money in farming. What is the basis of the money that these food sector guys are going to make from? From the farmers. No food sector, nothing. So this is the golden opportunity and the puzzle that is in front of us. That's why I'm saying we have to stop thinking in those old out-fashioned ways. You know, yes, people have to be empowered, but if we have to move forward, we have to be in tune with the 21st century. If we are really so compassionate. We can't say, I'm so compassionate and I love you and I'm so sorry that you are poor, but I'll just keep on loving you, but I'm not going to do anything to make sure that you, because as somebody said sarcastically, if there are no poor, how will I do punyam and go to heaven? So I need a lot of poor people so that continuously they should be poor. Let us get out of that mindset and start thinking of making people prosperous. And I'm not saying this, I'm saying it deliberately and provocatively because this is what the poor people of India want. They do not want to be treated as objects of sympathy and objects of pity. They want to be treated as equals with respect. They say, okay, today I'm in this issue, now what can you do so that you and I become real equals economically? We have to go with that mindset of mutual respect. Otherwise, if you say, ki, ayyo papa madi anta kashtapadutunnadu, I mean, how much he is suffering, this is not going to work. That whole mindset has to completely change. I know I'm being provocative, but I'm really tired of that old way of thinking. That's why I'm saying all these things. So there is a lot of money coming in. Multinationals are coming, Indian companies are coming. 1 lakh crores, I don't even know what it means, is being invested. This is the competition for the food sector. The government and the private sector are in hands in gloves saying that let us go and exploit the resources in the agriculture sector. They will pass on a couple of cents more to the farmer, there's no doubt about it. But the lion's share of all this investment, the benefits, where will it go? Not to the farmer. That is why we need cooperatives. Shall we move forward, please? So the food sector is very attractive for investors, but farming is not attractive for farmers. It's so obvious. There is money in the food sector, but not in farming. So, you know, in Telugu we say, Vyavasayam nichi Vyaparam. From farming, we move to business. So farmers individually cannot become businessmen. That's why we need them to join together to form cooperatives. And this is an old thing, but I'll not get into why we have not succeeded. We will discuss about what we can do. So, of course, Amul is an outstanding example, but, you know, it's like, we have only one Amul and we keep on repeating that story. But where are the other Amuls? So that is the story that we wanted. So the vision really is that the benefits of cooperatives like Amul have to be extended to all the farmers of India beyond the dairy sector into the non-dairy sector as well, because that's where we are. So can we kindly go ahead, please? Yeah. Don't look at these numbers too carefully, but this is just a view. As I said, we have a mindset of looking too much inward. Where is this? Where are we in the rest of the world? These are the countries and the total cooperative turnover. A little old, but the picture hasn't changed. I didn't have time to look at the 2025 data. So France is at $464 billion. I don't know what it means. Only Elon Musk knows because he's worth $500 billion personally. Otherwise, nobody knows what it means. Now, and at that time, India was $6.1 billion. Now, the other strange thing is all these big cooperatives for the farmer, by the farmer, of the farmer, empowering, democratic, this, that, we talk. We only talk. These are all capitalist countries. I am not a capitalist. Let me proudly say I am not a capitalist. But they have thrived in capitalist countries, and in all these so-called socialist countries, we have reduced action to mere talking and writing policy documents and seminars and talks. Action very limited. The action is there in the capitalist countries. So let us be little hard-headed and see why is it happening like this and why are we messing up things here. Can we go forward? Because we need poor people so that we can do seva to them and go to heaven and claim. That's all it is. I mean, something like that. Now, agri-cooperatives, which is, we are talking about agri largely today. Yeah. So there also you see, these are all, Japan, Korea, United States, France, Germany, etc. They're all doing extremely well. I would recommend that you go to the website of CHS Incorporated United States. From 32 billion, now it's about 50 billion. Go and look at their website. America has 1/100th or something like that, the number of farmers of India, and they're doing a $50 billion turnover. India's largest cooperative is Amul. It is doing about $7 billion. Why? Why? When we can produce an 18-year-old kid who became a world champion, the youngest all-time world champion in chess history is from right here. Actually, he's originally a Telugu fellow, but lives in Chennai. Gukesh Domaraju. When we have such talent in this country, why are we languishing here? Because of an outmoded way of thinking about how to move forward. Let's go ahead. Now China. Now China is a socialist country, capitalist country. China is China. I don't know what it is. You look at the numbers. From 2007, when they passed some new laws, their cooperative sector is just taken off. I will not bore you with all the numbers, but you can see. So I was just, before this talk, I was looking. Only in agri cooperatives, their turnover is 36 lakh crore rupees. I don't know what 36 lakh crore rupees means, but it is more than Amul's 50,000 crores. You can do the math. So the Chinese are like, let's get real, folks. We are the world's largest or second largest population. We got to solve this at a national level. We are still talking chota mota things. We are not thinking big. We are not thinking ambitiously. We are not thinking at a national scale. All the principles we talk about are correct. For the farmer, by the farmer. But we are not good at executing because we are not ambitious enough. Let's go. So this talk, if CS wants, can send it to everybody, but these are just the numbers. So let's move ahead on that. Yeah, they're all profitable, etc., etc. I just saw that there are 29 companies, agri cooperatives in China, which have a turnover of 13,000 crores, which is a little smaller than Amul, but there are 29 of them there. At least 29 according to what they report. So we have a long way to go. So whether you go to the capitalist countries or to the China kind of model, they are way ahead of us. So one of my friends says, there are 3 types of people: Raichand, Gyanchand and Karamchand. Raichand is the one who has opinions. We are the world champion in opinions. We have opinions on everything under the sun. The Gyanchand is the one, people like me, professors who give just Gyan, who don't do anything. There are a very few Karamchands. The most famous of them was Karamchand Gandhi, Mohandas Karam. We need more Karamchands. We don't need these Raichands and Gyanchands. That's what we need in this country. Yeah. So some questions before I move to what possibly we can try to do for our own nation. Why are the top 300 cooperatives in the world? There is an international cooperative alliance, and CS mentioned in his opening remarks that this is the which 120 International Year of Cooperatives, and I'm very happy about that. We had a chance to peripherally participate in it. We are asking why are most of these top 300 company of cooperatives worldwide, this data is from the International Cooperative Authorities Association, ICA. Why are they from the capitalist countries and industrialist countries? Because they don't muddle their head with outdated socialist thinking. I am a socialist. In heart, I am a leftist because my heart is on the left side. Let me say that. But we have messed up socialism by doing all the wrong things. So one of the reasons is that they are treated as economic activities and as businesses. You know, I found in my discussions with various people, including the government, bleeding heart liberals, that development is not about money. Money is one-dimensional. It is a holistic view. All that sounds good. But when that IAS officer gets a job in the World Bank, he takes 5-year leave and go to the World Bank. The same stuff is pushed down our throats by the NGOs. But when that NGO fellow gets a job in the United Nations or in Ford Foundation, he leaves his job and goes to Ford Foundation. But he tells the poor, no, don't worry about money. It's a holistic thing. It's all manangati. The poor people want money. The guys who are preaching holistic development are the guys who are running to Asian Development Bank, United Nations and the World Bank for their 5-year. If you go there for 5 years, you get $1 salary and you get a lifetime income and you get that pension even while you are in service. But they go and tell, no. Development is holistic. It is not a one-dimensional thing about money and all that. Why should I believe such people? Why should I believe such people? And the NGO wallahs also, they say that. Then the moment they get a job in the Ford Foundation, they leave the grassroots work and go to Ford Foundation because udhar bhi $1 salary milta hai. तो गरीब आदमी को पैसा चाहिए. Let us be little blunt about it. I tell that all with your holistic development, if any farmer, average farmer, if he gets a bus conductor's job in the RTC, he will leave farming or give it on lease and take a bus conductor's job. It's a fact. Why don't we accept these facts? And now how do we, if we accept that people want money, let's treat this as a business and make lots and lots of money for the cooperatives. That's what I'm trying to say. No, I'm very angry, I'm sorry, but you know, after 20 years of work, once in a while you have to speak the blunt truth, otherwise it gets talked away in wishy-washy talking. So we have done some work for 25 years, I'm not going to talk about our work, I'm just going to discuss what could be done. Let's go ahead. So I'm going to skip this, but while I make some remarks, you can go through it. These are the internationally accepted principles of cooperatives. Now you look at all the schemes that the government has launched. FPO scheme, first it was 10,000 FPOs, then it was 40,000 FPOs, now it is 1 lakh FPOs, and guidelines and schemes and all kinds of things these people make and parcel it out to NABARD and SFAC and this and that, and you go and promote FPOs, all the, and under these NRLM guidelines, this guidelines, that guidelines. Which of those principles do those guidelines follow? You tell me. I've gone through it. Hardly. On paper, they'll say, in reality, they are not going to follow those principles. So how is it going to succeed? It's not going to succeed. I have heard serious people tell me, I don't want to, chairman of big organizations, I was in the board of some organization. He said, what do you think about all these FPOs? I said, what do you think? He said, they are going to fail. I said, I agree with you. But he goes to the board meeting and says that we should do this, we should do that. All talk, public talk. Secretly believes it's not. Most of the people who are promoting FPOs in the country, internally believe it is going to fail. But they will never say it in public. They will go on with this farce will be going on and on. So what should we do? So let's go ahead. Now, I will give only a suggestion and close. It's not that this is the only solution. Everybody has a right to think about it. You see, why did Amul succeed? There are hundreds of reasons, but at a very basic level, there are 3 or 4 reasons. One is, there was an organization called the National Dairy Development Board, which is a long-term organization. It worked in a mission mode. Of course, it was headed at that time by an outstanding person called Varghese Kurian, but there were many outstanding people out there who made it their life mission to promote dairy cooperatives. What do we have now? Scheme after scheme, going to this NGO, that NGO. One secretary comes, he is transferred after 2 years or retires, then one minister comes, this government comes, this state government, new policy, this, that. How the hell is it going to work? It's not going to work. Whatever clever scheme, it's not going to work at all. No matter what scheme you come up with, it will work in a national mission mode. Why is our space program working? If we had got a 10,000 space programs and distributed money to all the villages that they should make space programs, where would it have worked? You have ISRO, now ISRO is launching satellites for American companies. So you need to work like that, and NDDB is a very good example of that. That you have a national mission. The same people with track record spend their whole life. Kurian spent 50 years working on cooperatives, and many of his colleagues spent decades. They became experts, they worked on it. Today I am industry secretary, tomorrow I am social secretary, tomorrow the BJP government is changed to Congress government. How can it work? We are not thinking about this. So we need to create a national mission, National Dairy Farmer Board or something, and put the capable people, give adequate resources. At that time, Amul from wherever or NDDB raised 3,500 crores to do this. But one organization, central, focused, strategic mission, and if you see that film Manthan, you will see how they achieved it. So we need to think whether we need a model like that. This whole thing, India is too diverse, it is so geographically spread. Here we speak Telugu, there they speak Hindi, there they speak Malayalam, how can we have one size? How did Amul spread to so many? One of the second best dairies in India is Nandini Dairy. Alli ellaru Kannada matadtare. उनको हिंदी नहीं मालूम हिंदी बोलने से उनको गुस्सा आता है ना कन्नड़ा माताड़ते सर ये नहीं हिंदी 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 उस टाइप का वो बोलते बट उधर भी बना के दिखाया उन्होंने सो दिस fully headed thinking everybody wants to make money whether he is a Kannadiga or a Hindi wala everybody wants to make money and they've done it in Nandini Dairy also so we should go on that and other examples very creditable example Mulkanur he's talked about it Mulkanur Rice and Mulkanur Women's Dairy, they follow all the principles of the International Cooperative Alliance. Member control, member investment, etc., etc., etc. So I will not elaborate on that. And they have reached very good. We have been little lucky in spite of all the mistakes we have made over 25 years. We are also working with 45,000 farmers. We are exporting our goods. Our CEO is sitting there. We are exporting to the United States. And we have also reached a turnover of 100 crores. If we had 3,500 crores like NDDB, we would have done a little better. We hardly have 2 crores per year, but that's how what we are able to manage with the resources we have. So maybe I'm almost finished with that. How do we do it? Now, what are the challenges and how do we close them? So there are, in my interaction with the government and with various NGOs and civil society organizations, as very few of them really agree with the principles of the International Cooperative Alliance. So they may say, but when it comes to action and implementation, whether it's the government or the NGOs, they want to play the big brother role and say, no, I'll take care of it. You guys, I'll help you, But of course, we will pretend that we are all empowering you, but actually, you just be there. We don't really trust you to fall off the bicycle. And the other thing is, we vote with our fears, not with our hopes. What I mean to say is, not only in the cooperative sector, government scheme, we ensure that nothing will go wrong, thereby ensuring that nothing right will also happen. So many rules, regulations, checks, balances, this, that, and the other guidelines, that there is no flexibility, nothing can happen. So when do we vote with our hopes? When we say that, we'll give you a chance, do it. You make a few mistakes, it's all right. Who votes with the hopes? The startups. The government votes with the fears. The bureaucracy votes with their fears. They make rules, regulations, checkups, this, that, ensure that nothing will go wrong and ensure that nothing right will happen. That's what they do. There are so many rules, I cannot believe it. Only NGOs who are good in paperwork and talking are able to get those funds, and then they don't need to do any work because then they can make some PPTs and some reports and ensure that everybody is happy. And then they'll go to all these international seminars and say, ye ho gaya, wo ho gaya. But wo kisan ko jaake pucho. Usko jaake pucho na. I invite you to go and talk to the farmers of Amul or Mulkanur. I invite you to come to Anandapur and talk to our farmers without our presence and ask them, Din valla nike mana labham vachinda. Did you get any benefit? They are the people who have to say, not us. Not those external evaluators should not be saying. The farmer should be saying that, yes, I have benefited from it. So the NGOs don't believe it. The farmers don't, the farmers, okay, you have come to help me, okay, I'll work with you, it's okay. They're nice guys. Now, in the commercial setup, we have an incubator cell in IIM Bangalore. Maybe you have one here also. 80% of them fail. So we should not be, they are not worried about it, the investors, that 80% fail, because they are saying that one of them will succeed and make 20 times or 30 times the money of this. But when we promote FPOs, we are so scared that they will fail that we put so many rules that nothing will ever be able to grow. So we have to allow some to fail and allow some to grow. There are only going to be a few Amuls, but one Amul is covering 4 million farmers. You need 25 Amuls or something like that to cover India, that's all. You don't need more than that. And we should enable that to happen. The other thing is, we need 2 skills to promote, which I am finding are very rare. Money is there, but we need 2 rare skills. One is what we call social mobilization, organizing the farmers along the democratic principles. So from day 0, when we went into this is a very important principle. When we went there, one old man came and said, why have you come here? I said, we want to have a meeting. So what? This is when we started our work with cooperative. What meeting? We just want to discuss what is the situation. He says, are you going to give money? No. Are you going to give food? No. Are you going to give medicines? No. Are you going to distribute clothes? No. What are you going to distribute? Nothing. I think why did you come? Now this is the mindset we have created with the bleeding heart liberal mindset from 1947, that we go and do good to the poor, we do seva, and oh God, see, today you gave me an opportunity to do seva to the poor people. This kind of nonsense has to go. Now when you start there, how do you... So the social mobilization skill that I am coming to is that there is an expectation created in the last 75 years that you are going to give me something for free and you will do the work and we'll all pretend that we are all empowered. That's the general bullshit that is going on in this country. We tell them, no, I'm not going to give you anything. And for the first 3-4 years, nothing happened in Anandapur. I wanted to close it. Then it picked up because a few local leaders, Mr. Ashwath Narayan Reddy, Ramna Reddy, so many of them are my friend, not all of them are Reddys. They gave their blood, sweat, toil and tears for this cooperative. And because the local people trusted them, it came up. Local leadership should come. We didn't give a dambidi naya paisa to anybody. They put their money into it. And when they put their money into it, you know what happens? The other day I went to Anantapur at 9 o'clock in the morning and that farmer was there. I said, why did you come so early? He said, sir, today I am 15 minutes late. I usually come by 8:45. Where do you live? Such and such a village. He's a farmer who is elected on the board of directors of the cooperative. And I take a train, and then from Penukunda, I take a shared auto with 10 people and I come here. I said, why do you come? Because they don't get paid. He says, sir, this is the farmers' cooperative because the farmers have put their money in it. Because we don't give any money, there's no government scheme, there's no free, there's nothing. There is no Prime Minister's photo on that. No, nobody's photo is there. It is just the farmers' money. So the farmers have trusted me. So I have to do something. So that spirit that we are working for each other, it is our money. And there is a dharma in India which Kurian used to mention. I also thought I had figured out independently. I shall not pay taxes. I shall not repay my loans. I shall cheat the government, whether I am within the government or outside the government. But the dharma is, I shall not cheat my neighbor. They don't in the village. There is a community sense. They may fight with each other, but they will not loot him. They will not. So why? Therefore, in this cooperative, when the people's money is there, nobody dares touch that money. That is people's empowerment. वो हिंदी में बोलते हैं कि कुर्सी पे बैठने से नजाकत आती है. जब पैसा डालते हैं तो होश ठिकाने आ जाते हैं अपने आप. When they put their money, their brain starts functioning. How to make it profitable? If you keep on giving them training programs and exposure visit, कुछ नहीं होता है. Tribal farmers who can barely speak Telugu, they speak Gondi, who have become presidents in Adilabad. I'm going there tomorrow. You're welcome to come and see. He is able to figure out in a small village cooperative how to earn 1 lakh per month. I said, so he told me how he does it. So people have potential. We are unlocking that potential by saying, you come together, we are here to support you, you do it. They achieved 40 crores of turnover in Maharashtra. We are also working in Maharashtra. Just because they feel we are there, we trust them, we provide some support and some resources, but the work is being done by the farmers. NGOs and promoting agencies don't believe this. So Kurian used to say, he's one of my heroes, okay, let me be very blunt, and I'm trying to learn to speak like him. He used to say, cooperation is an act of faith. For those who have the faith, no explanation is necessary. For those who don't have the faith, no explanation is possible. That's what he used to say, and I'm coming to that conclusion myself. NGO after NGO, government officer after officer. Yes, sir, what you are doing, but we have to work like this only, na? And keep on messing up things. So social mobilization skills of the right side. The mindset is, I go there with respect for the people there, with of course sympathy and respect, but tell them, boy, I am with you, but you also get up and you got to do some work and I'll work with you. You don't sit there and I'm not going to serve you food. You have to do it. You have to put your money, but I'm with you. That is a part of the social mobilization skill. And the second thing is the business skill. This is even more rare because the only people who know how to do business are the business people, and they don't care about society and farmers, whether they're dying or starving. That's why that 1 lakh crore is coming. The NGOs, by and large, they have no clue how to do business, and the government knows even less about how to do business. They know how to make policy documents and have meetings and all. Kurian had that rare skill of how to organize people with true sympathy and respect, and how to do business. So we need that combination of how to organize people and how to do business. And the people who are most eager to learn how to do business are the farmers. Because they get money, no? If they learn how to do business, they make money out of it. So they're very happy to learn about it. So that is I'm saying we have to shift the framework. You read all those documents of those other countries, the government and the banking system, they provide a framework which supports, but lets them do. Lets them do. You have to build business skills. I do not deny that. You have to have training programs. So I'll just close with an example. We brought some 40 tribal farmers right here to Hyderabad, and I took them to a supermarket. Sir, mammali lopal ki ranistara, will they allow us to come inside? Because they never. I said come. Then we took them to the food section. They don't know how to read English. So that fellow walked around, and then he saw one thing which he could vaguely recognize. There was a dog's photograph on it, and he could see the price. And he could vaguely make out that it contains something to do with soya, because they grow soya. He said, what is this? So I said, this is dog food. Really? He said, what is he selling? 40 rupees or whatever in those days for 100 grams? Yeah. He says, sir, I'm not getting 40 rupees per kilo. I said, wake up, sir. That's why we want you to join together to form cooperative. So exposure. Now, those days, this was not available. Now I've gone to remote villages in Jharkhand and sat with the tribals there under a tamarind tree, and they were selling their tamarind at 10 rupees. And I said, आपको मालूम है साउथ इंडिया में हर एक घर में इमली खाते हैं, सुबह इमली खाते हैं, शाम को इमली, इडली सांबार रसम सब में इमली खाते हैं. So I said, look at this. So I showed them. They started opening this. And sir, ये 200 रुपये में इमली बेच रहे हैं. मैंने कहा यार तू 10 रुपये में क्यों बेच रहा है? ये हाँ 200 रुपये में बेच रहे. So the thing is, we have to invest that time and effort in building the awareness and skills of people. And we have to set up the initial business links. And that is a task which the Chinese seem to have done, the Western countries seem to have done. It is up to us to do it. I'm sorry if I made some sharp comments. I don't mean to criticize. It is out of anguish. I think we can do much better than we are doing. So thank you so much, and I'm sorry if I said anything which doesn't sound good. Thank you.
So maybe we can take some questions. I think Professor Trilochan Shastri has been provocative because I think, non-profits oftentimes fail to promote for-profit organizations. I think that's one of the essences of what Professor Trilochan mentioned. For you to promote successful for-profit organizations, you need to have the DNA of a for-profit organization. I think that's an important message. Also, I think the grants can spoil, even if you are promoting cooperatives. Oftentimes they tend to be, too dependent on grants. And so they stop thinking about being business organizations. That's one of the problems with many of the farmer producer organizations that we have. So maybe particularly the students, so many of you are there, we can maybe pass on the mic, and if you have any question. Yeah. Yes.
Now it is removed. It's removed. There no. We are selling our Anantapur farmers' produce all over the country. We are exporting it. There is no. Let's not generalize. There's nothing like whole country. 150 crore people cannot secretly what 150 crore. And you also gave stories of doing very well. There's no we there. There's somebody who's learning, somebody who's so I withdraw the word we if you don't like it. So let's leave it at that. No, it's not I like. When we are doing a solution, I want to understand exactly who wrong. So the solution is that we have to change the framework and invest in building cooperatives that are genuinely, it require a long discussion. For example, in our cooperatives, we don't give anything for free. The farmers have to put money. It goes completely against the grain. And we also invest our own time and effort separately from the farmers in identifying the business opportunities. When I started, I realized that even though I'm a professor in a business school, that is not going to help. I took a notebook and a pen and I went to small traders, big traders, millers, and like a student, I opened my notebook and asked them, how do you do the business? So you have to learn the business from the people who are successfully doing business, not from McKinsey consultants or some workshop somewhere. I learned how to do the local business. The simple logic was that people locally are making money. Traders, merchants, oil millers, local processing units, wholesalers are all making money, farmer is not. I went to them to learn business. Now I have some understanding. We said, let us do this together.
So, so I have two quick questions, sir. One is, so you have talked about the 3-tier Amul model, which has really worked. The 3-tier model is what is their strength. What is your opinion about the Sayadri model, the one in Nashik?
I think it's a very successful model and it's very inspiring. We did not follow that model for the simple reason that if you read between the lines, their grape farmers have to invest 5 lakh rupees in those days, I don't know how much it is now, to make that farm capable of growing grapes of the quality and productivity that is required in Europe. Our farmers in Anantapur cannot invest 50,000 rupees. So it's a high investment model, no doubt. Yes. That's my simple.
Also, sir, recently some paper had come out which had worked out on secondary data, but it says that so Maharashtra, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Tamil Nadu are the best performing FPO or cooperative states, and most of the North Indian and East Indian states are low performing. So, do you see culture also being one of the major reasons?
See, this is like Ranji Trophy match between one state and the other. And now look at what is happening in China. All these other states which are doing well, bad, all of them are doing miserably compared to those countries. We are to aim to be world class. And we are not. We are happy with Gujarat beating Tamil Nadu or vice versa. It doesn't matter to me. It's all like Ranji Trophy. You have to play you have to play the World Cup.
Sir, when we see the success of the cooperatives, wherever an individual is committed, then it has grown. It's a leadership. So what I feel is the leadership crisis. It is not.
No, there is no leadership crisis. We are not enabling the leaders to come up. You see, what we started doing after failing for 4 years, suddenly one day I woke up and I realized that it is not our work through the NGO, it is the local leaders who are doing it. And so we are now, we have got so many leaders. Our way of working enables the local leaders to emerge. There are leaders everywhere.
So then problem is where then? So anyway.
No, there is a requirement of an external agency.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have happened by itself. You know, there are many things. But it is more like we are there to support you till you grow up and manage it yourself. That is the only thing. And that support does help.
So we handhold them to start the business scaling up. And
I know what you're saying. I will say yes, but I just don't like these words like handhold and all. Who the hell am I to hold anybody's hand?
Yeah, although we don't say that, but we support them. Still, then they go
Our
to the level of
staff call the
commercialization.
farmers Anna. Yeah. Simple. So we have to work with respect. I would invite not only, we are not saying we are the best, we are doing something somewhat useful, but please go and see in the field for yourself. Go and see Mulkanur, go and see Amul, go and see, come and you're welcome to visit us and try to absorb the spirit in which it works.
Sir, you said, either we can vote with our fears or we can vote with our hopes. I think banks are the other institution which votes with their fears. So how much role do you think, I totally understand your point that ultimately it's the farmer's money which initiates the whole thing, and then that is what motivates them to protect their resources. But there is also a role for banks and loans that help in infrastructure building and so on. So what are the, your comments about the role that the banks are playing and should be playing? How should they actually reorient their thinking on lending to cooperatives?
Very important question. You see, again, we are not working, as they say, on a greenfield site. We have got a history. The history is loan waivers, the so-called government-run packs in a mess, 70% of them in debt, either functioning or in this thing, and what happens is that the government will waive a loan before the elections, announce the farmers will stop paying, but the government is supposed to reimburse those banks, which they never do, and it's a complete mess all over the country. First, the BJP used to blame the Congress for doing this. Now the BJP has mastered the art of beating the Congress in loan waivers. Now the banking sector, what would you do if you were a banker? If I am a banker, I have got the public's money. Public has deposited its money, and I am going to risk it in this kind of a situation. Of course I will not. So we have made a complete mess of the whole thing. There is a way forward. Kurian never took any money from any bank. We can't get 300, 500 crores from somewhere to create a national mission. I'm not even asking for 5,000 crores. You give 500 crores for a national mission, we'll manage it.
Even the Manthan movie was crowdfunded.
The Manthan is, yeah, it was a different time, different era, but great work, very inspiring. But we cannot just be blindly following that model. We have to think we are in the 21st century, technology has changed, people's aspirations have changed, everything. So today what can we do? Following some of those principles, but the goal is the same. The goal is to take the small farmer in large numbers to prosperity. The goal is the same. And so it can be done, but trying to sort out a mess that we have created over 75 years in the banking sector and rural loans and agricultural loans, and trying to sort that out before we do this is not possible. Why should the farmers wait for that mess to be sorted out? They didn't create it anyway.
So you're saying rather than the commercial banks, it's better to have a vehicle, like a mission-focused vehicle to finance the...
So Mulkanur does borrow money, but as for example, our farmers cooperative, over the years, they have, so okay, let me go back to Mulkanur. Mulkanur, 6,000 farmers have 17 crores of their own funds. Much of their operations they can operate without external loans. They are getting external loans because they have a very good track record. So the problem is chicken and egg. You first have a track record, then the banks will fund you. But until the banks fund you, you don't have a track record. All these issues are there, but we'll talk about it later. But we have been able to sort it out. And we are getting loans now. We are even getting cash credit limits. Because banks will lend if you have a credible track record. Otherwise, they will not. Yes, ma'am. Working as? Business, yeah. Yeah.
With participation of each member, cooperative business loans. Not farmers loans, but business loan as a cooperative.
Yes, so very good. It is again because of the fear of banks that this business loan, it is for agriculture. So there is a weightage of bad memories, too many bad memories of the banks. I was able to get 3 crores from India's third largest bank as a working capital cash credit limit, but that is because I have an unfair advantage. I know people, I'm supposed to be a somewhat competent person, I know people at the highest level in the private sector, so but it's not a model. But it can be done. Let me give an example. You know, the first groundnut mill we set up was through a loan, which we arranged from somewhere. But the second groundnut mill, we said we will not give a loan. So they said that, how will we manage? We want to set up one more and all. I said, how much do you need? So let's make it round. He said 40 lakhs. So I said, how many bags of groundnut will you get? They, of course, they were boasting. They said at least 20,000. I said, how much per bag? 40 lakh divided by 20,000. Our Telugu farmers are pretty good in arithmetic. They said, sir, bastaga 200 rupees per bag. 200 into 20,000 is 40 lakhs. I said, you can't give 200 rupees per bag. Then I do all this drama. You have a smartphone? Does it cost 200 rupees? Then they're all quiet. I said, you can pay 20,000 rupees for a smartphone. You can't give 200 rupees per... They put the money and they set it up. So that is the social organization and business skills. See, I don't know whether I should speak so provocatively. We have no faith in the farmers because we have no faith in ourselves. We think this model is not going to work. Some scheme is there, some model is there, somebody will give a grant. Then tomorrow I can go and present this as an NGO leader in this seminar, that seminar. But I don't really believe in this. When I don't believe it, I have faith in myself, I don't have faith in the farmer. I have to have a lot of faith in myself and the farmer to tell him that you put your money, it will succeed. If you're a responsible person, you're telling the so-called poor that you put your money, I am there with you. How many of us have that confidence in the development sector? Because we don't know how to do business. We just don't know how to do business, sorry. We are trained in TIS and IRMA and all this, and we learn about development and holistic development and empowerment, but we don't know how to do business. And we don't want to know how to do, because business is such a terrible thing. It is for capitalists, it is all for those people who are only money-minded. We are not those kind of people. We are development people. How can we stoop to doing business? This psychology is there in our mindset. The hard psychology, I call it. మంచి జీతం వస్తే ఇది వదిలేసి అక్కడికి పోతాం. డబ్బులు కావాలా? I don't know why I'm so provoked today. I'm sorry about it. But I mean well. I really want the farmers to do well. No? That's the only reason I'm talking like this.
Only hesitate when they have to give loans to farmers?
Who?
Do banks hesitate when they have to give loans to farmers?
No,
Because
she
of this-
made a, yeah, your question is good. Her point, this lady from France, is don't give to farmers, give it to the business, which is the farmers cooperative.
Yes, because businesses are being given money, and when they can't pay back, like Anil Ambani, it's written off. It's a bank which has paid.
That's true, but you see, what you're saying is true, and I agree with you, but they'll not give. You can go on questioning.
Our mindset is such that if you're a big businessman, I will lend you the money, and if eventually you don't pay,
I'll write it off.
write it off. But when it comes to 2 lakh loan, I will see to it that
I won't even give you the loan. I won't even give you the loan. Yeah, that's true. That is a fact. What you're saying is true. But you know, in some places, Timbuktu is one example, and to a large extent, I would say Mulkano, by slowly pulling in people's money, they can use that money for their business activities. Ultimately, what is a bank? You know, some people deposit money, and it is lent to those who need it. So there is enough money. I mean, it requires a lot. My friend in northern Karnataka in Raichur, he has mobilized 2 lakh families under the NREJ. He runs labor cooperatives rather than farmers cooperatives. And they have a people's bank. Everybody puts 1 day's wages per year into that. And they are doing so much of business. They don't borrow money from outside. So it requires work. This Mulkanur Women's Cooperative, which Shashi Rajagopalan set up, which she conceived of, but it was set up by Ramareddy, the women pooled in their own money. It is all those women's cooperative bank which set up that Mulkanur Women's Dairy. It's running now. Ramareddy passed away recently. Shashi Rajagopal, God bless her, passed away long ago. But that cooperative is running. Women's cooperative is running. It's doing 200 crores of business. Something like that. I mean, it's a fantastic, it's an inspiring model. So people put their own money together and made it happen. That is another way of doing it. Till the government wakes up and the policy makers wake up.
In terms of money, what we have seen regarding the FPO financing, once the first loan is made to an FPO, the next and the third and the fourth loan becomes easy. The initial loan, that kind of a trust building, just to kind of complement what Professor Shastri mentioned, in addition to farmers taking responsibility, putting their own money, the skin in the game, I think one other aspect we have seen wherever the FPOs are beginning to show leadership is where they have shown ownership. I think the ownership of the members. And that is where the contradiction comes between grant money and ownership. The moment you have grant money, the ownership is hard to come by because, they can they can, even if that money is lost, they're not losing anything. But if their own share capital is lost, then the members, fight. So wherever we have seen FPOs beginning to succeed, whether they are involved in input marketing or value addition and output marketing, finance, hasn't been a problem second, third, fourth round. But the first round, the ice breaking, getting that first loan of 5 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees. For example, Trilochanji, I keep saying this to a lot of people, that a self-help group in Telangana or Andhra Pradesh, a 10-member informal group is able to get today 20-25 lakh rupees. But a farmer producer organization of 300 shareholders, 500 or even 1000 shareholders, not able to get even 20 lakh rupees. So I think we are seeing a kind of a ecosystem issue where, number one, I think the bankers don't understand FPO because it's a very complex organization. Second, they also don't want to understand it because they are too busy making consumer loans, car loans and housing loans. The third is the policy hasn't been, in 1992, when the Reserve Bank of India issued a circular saying that you can lend to an informal self-help group, you can lend to the group without asking the purpose, and you can lend to the group without a collateral, then banks started falling in line. Today, banks are running around self-help groups. The loan outstanding to self-help groups in India today is 3 lakh crores. From the banks, the amount of money that is outstanding with self-help groups is 300,000 crores with a 98%, 97% recovery. So I see FPO financing is something that's kind of taking time. But there is, wherever an FPO, for example, AP Mas promoted FPO in Madanapalli, the initial loan of 20 lakhs was difficult. But after that, a cash credit limit of 60 lakhs, 90 lakhs has become almost automatic. So I think the initial loan is the challenge. And Trilochanji, one question that is there from the people who are on the virtual meeting is that for small and marginal maize farmers, what is the business model for them to have a profit? But also, there has always been a debate about should the cooperatives or FPOs be commodity specific, multi-commodity. So I think this is...
So we just started marketing maize this year because the reason is our Anantapur farmers are shifting away from groundnut into maize. As simple as that. So I'm not saying that this is the only model. What has worked reasonably well for us so far is we just trace for any commodity the supply chain. The farmer is selling maize to a local trader. Where does he go? In fact, we are now pushing the farmers to find out. He says it goes to the feed factories, mostly the chicken feed factories. So of course, we also do some homework. We contacted several chicken. Now we've got about 10 chicken feed factories who buy maize in the open market from the same traders who are buying it from the farmers. So we skip one level and we're directly selling to and we are getting a good price. The practical difficulties are there because some of them say we'll pay in 30 days, some of them they'll say pay in 60 days. So our experience is that if it is a established, reputed company with a ERP software, the moment it clocks into their system, nobody can stop the payment. It will come to you in 30 days or 60 days. If it is some private operator, even if it is computerized, give a 3% cash discount, 2% cash discount and do cash and carry. Otherwise, that guy, if he defaults, you have nowhere to go. So at least the first step is to skip the first link in the supply chain. Later on, I say we will likely, if it continues like this, we'll set up a maize processing unit. So I tell the farmers jokingly, are you growing chicken? Yes, some of us are growing. I said, you sell your maize for 20 rupees, That guy takes it to the chicken feed factory and he comes back and sells you chicken feed at 5 times the price. And you feed it to your own chicken. Why don't we all get together and make the chicken feed? So this is the next step. But initially you just start by selling something. And the other big blunder and fear, that's what I said, we don't have faith in ourselves. You know, they will try their best to organize something from somewhere so that this 30-day gap is. I said, if you are getting 100 rupees from the local trader, now you are going to get 140 rupees. You wait for 30 days. If you can't wait for 30 days, go to hell. Go and sell it to that guy. That's all. So people, they may make their own choices. So we should not organize all this financing. We did 90 crores of business last year with 2 crores of working capital. Because we tell the farmers, నీకు డబ్బులు కావాలంటే కొంచెం వెయిట్ చేయి. నేనేం చేయను, నేను ఇక్కడ అక్కడ తిప్పలు పడి నేను నీకు డబ్బులు ఇస్తాను, నువ్వు నోట్ తెరిస్తే లడ్డు పెడతాను, అట్లంతా చేయము. నీకు డబ్బులు కావాలంటే నువ్వు ఇక్కడ మాలు వేయి, తర్వాత నీకు డబ్బులు వస్తుంది. అండ్ దే ఆర్ అగ్రింగ్, దే ఆర్ డూయింగ్ ఇట్. We don't have faith in ourselves, we don't have faith in the farmers. Farmer is the highest risk taker in the universe, Indian farmer. So for him this additional 30 days is nothing. We are only scared of doing it.
Any other questions? Otherwise I think we have come to the end of this memorial lecture, so I'll hand it over to Dr. Ramadevi, who has been coordinating. I think the best models that Professor Trilochan Shastri quoted are from the long years of cooperative movement, each of them over 50 years. All the cooperatives in, Warangal area, the 550 savings and credit cooperatives, they have also been 40, 50 years, and Mulkanur, Amul. I think the FPOs, I just want to kind of put it in perspective that while there are large number of FPOs, they are still fairly nascent. Some very few of them have crossed 10 years of existence. So some of them are still struggling with the kind of teething problems. But I totally agree with what Professor Trilochan Shastri mentioned. Oftentimes the government terms and conditions and some kind of a target-oriented approach kills that kind of a business instinct or that ownership among the farmers. And so that's where a lot of FPO promoting agencies, whether they are NGOs, whether they are even for-profit organizations like Grant Thornton, PricewaterhouseCoopers, at the moment, almost 50% of the FPOs are failing. So failure is there, but maybe we are not acknowledging it. Even if 10% or 20% of the FPOs become successful business organizations, and those that are struggling, either they close down or there is some mergers and amalgamations that happen. I think we... So I think, how do we build on that positive experiences, the success stories, and perhaps one of the models that we have seen in APMAS that seems to benefit is while these smaller FPOs of 300 to 700 farmers, they're okay for some kind of a, primary processing and marketing. But if you want to get into value addition, then you need maybe a cluster level federation, maybe at a district level or at a regional level, maybe 10, 20 FPOs come together, form their own federation, and they could be around a commodity or maybe 2 or 3 commodities. It could be groundnut, it could be red gram, it could be maize, it could be, oil seeds.
It could be all of them, but you see the same farmer grows all the 3. As long as you keep the account separate so that one profit doesn't go into this or one loss doesn't go into that, if you can do that, you can do it in the same one also. If it is not possible, then you may have to create separate organizations. Otherwise, they'll fight with each other. I am a profitable groundnut farmer, my profit is going to the maize walas. That problem, if you can avoid, it's okay.
And for the scalability and sustainability of the FPOs, like you said, government should not interfere, but government also has the responsibility to creating that kind of an enabling environment so that the collectives of the farmers become successful. So that's, I think, is something that we hope will happen. So I will now hand it over to my colleague Rama Devi to can. Yeah.
You were saying that you're not very bothered if a particular state or a particular region is doing well in cooperatives. I mean, it's all because no, because I was saying that if they are succeeding, it's worth looking at.
Definitely.
Yes.
Agreed.
Because we can't go to China and see what they're doing. We can. Well, maybe Bangalore we could.
Or France. I've been to France and seen their dairy cooperatives. I don't speak any French, but somehow somebody translated, we managed. And they're running along the same principles that I'm talking about.
In fact, some of the most successful cooperatives like Germany, Netherlands, again, zero interference from the government, and the policy is enabling and empowering. So the farmers themselves organize. India is unique because or many developing countries, we have this issue of a promoting organization. So the promoting organization sometimes bring a particular culture to the farmer producer organization. But anyway, I think we hope the farmer producer organizations in India succeed, because if even one FPO fails, the farmers lose their faith in collectivization. And I think we have some kind of responsibility to see how FPOs become thriving business organizations, which means maybe reducing our role, maybe redesigning our own engagement with the farmers, and how do we really spot that kind of leadership among the farmer producer organizations so that they are able to drive the organizations, and we are there more as a kind of a support organization. Again, I think Trilochan mentioned hand-holding is too much of a word because no, even I find it. So it's about asking. That's why I think Mr. Rama Reddy and Shashi Rajagopal, they always said our role is to keep questioning them rather than giving them answers. So if we can do more probing, if we can we can challenge and make them think, possibly they will find their own answers. And correct. Yes. And of course, all the FPO promoting organizations, whether they are non-profit or for-profit, must also understand business and really, promote that among the farmer producer organizations. So, over to Rama. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I myself have a small question. So, in the past, in this decade especially, we are hearing more about social enterprises. So, do you think social enterprises can be an alternative for cooperatives, or cooperatives should hire someone who is more capable of doing business along with following the principles of cooperatives?
Second part, whatever you said, cooperatives should be encouraged to be viable businesses, just like it has happened around the world. You see, every 10 years we come up with a new word. First it was cooperative, now it is FPO, then it was earlier SHG, then it was women's movement, now something social, and they keep on coming up with new words. Nobody understands, including the people who are using it. I don't understand that word social enterprise at all. It's okay, this model will work. If we are willing to collectively work together, he doesn't like the word we, so at least he's gone, otherwise I would have hesitated. So we all of us, we agree, we can make it happen. And we should encourage the cooperatives to come together and succeed. One last open invitation, which CS said, apart from coming and visiting us, that we will be very happy to collaborate as equal partners with all organizations, of course, including AP MAS, we are already collaborating, who are promoting farmer organizations. Let us all work together and achieve the scale that you are talking about and create an Amul brand. So we would really welcome collaboration with people in AP, Telangana. I know we are in Telangana, with AP, Maharashtra, anywhere in the country, people who are online. We would be happy to collaborate with all of them.
Sir, thank you for giving me this opportunity to close this event. First of all, I would like to thank Ms. Nandita Ray, ma'am. Nandita Ray, ma'am, madam. So, you have been very liberal and you have been very fond of Ray, sir, and you succeeded in carrying forward his efforts in building better systems for the farmers or for the rural people. We appreciate your efforts, and we have been through the Rays of Hope Foundation getting support for the farmers, for them to practice natural farming or climate resilient practices for the past 10 years. Thank you so much, ma'am, for helping us to support the farmers and also to conduct event like this every year, commemorating racers' efforts to help the farmers and rural people. And then, sir, immediately when we approached you to deliver this lecture, you accepted it immediately. Thank you so much. And this has been a very enlightening and empowering lecture for all of us. And I think the students who have been present here liked the lecture very well and got some inputs to take back. And sir, for us students, it's first we should know what is right, what is wrong, what are the efforts we should take, and then it will lead to some action, sir, karma. Yes, sir. So I would also thank Madhura sir for coming and giving light to this event and adding some, what should I say, some enlightenment again. I should not say that. Sir, thank you so much for coming here and be a part of the lecture, being a part of the event. And C.S. Reddy sir, our CEO, who has always been there with us, guiding us to move forward, guiding us in helping the farmers with whom we are working with, and guiding us in delivering the better things for the farmers. And then I would also thank all the delegates who are present here, who have come from long distances to attend this event, and the students from the Sagar Institute of Sagar Group of Institutes, Food and Agriculture, second year diploma students from the Food and Agriculture. So I would also thank all the people who have attended online, and thank you so much for being a part of this event and expressing your concerns, like how to strengthen the cooperatives and all. So I thank all our staff who were behind this event in successfully conducting this event, our administration staff and our all those staff. Thank you so much, sir, for being here today. Thank you. So high tea is there. You can have it.